every American veteran.
We love you.
We honor your service.
This is the American Veteran Show.
Take care of our great veterans.
Dedicated to America's veterans and the issues impacting them.
Our veterans are incredible people.
Online at AmericanVeteranShow.com. Now, Stephen Tubbs.
Welcome to this week's show, and good morning. We so appreciate you listening and the positive response to the first month plus of programs. Please do us a favor. Join us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter. The handle is @AmVetShow. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And the biggest thing really you can do if you enjoy this veteran-focused programming is to tell someone and get them to tune in Saturdays on KOA News Radio, Sundays on 630 KHOW. I'm particularly excited about this week's interviews and features. Ahead, help for active duty service members with voting. We'll look at how the post-9/11 GI Bill is helping churn out tens of thousands of college-educated veteran grads every year. And we'll hear from... Welcome back to the American Veteran Show. I'm Stephen Tubbs. You know, one of the things we hope to do with our program is to make it easier for veterans, for you that have served, to continue your education or to finish that degree. And there are universities out there across the country that work with you and your GI benefits to get back into school after serving our country. Robert Healy is the Director of Veteran Services at Niagara University, and you would assume that is in the state of New York. Mr. Healy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Let's talk about where you are, why you guys focus so heavily on veterans completing what I just outlined.
We're located, as you said, in Niagara Falls, New York. The university overlooks the Niagara Gorge, and we're approximately 3 miles downstream from the Niagara River.
And you focus on getting veterans their degrees, and I know you're highly rated across the country as far as universities go. Why is that?
I believe it's a group effort here on the campus. We're a very friendly university, but there's a very specific interest in wanting to help people, and specifically our veterans on campus.
How easy is it for somebody who's just out of the military, perhaps, or maybe they've taken a few years to try to go into the private sector, now they want to go back and get their job? Those GI benefits, I believe, are still going to be with them. How easy is it in 2017 to complete a degree if you've served in the military?
Well, again, with Niagara University, it's very simple. By contacting me, my job is to help you transition from military life to academic life. We are focused on understanding the needs of our veterans and anticipating them because we've been there, done that. Again, that whole transition, understanding that the military life functions in one sort of paradigm, but you're coming to an academic institution where that paradigm is going to be very different.
Is there one or two anecdotal stories you could share about a man or woman that's come after service and you've been able to take them from maybe where they thought, you know, this whole education thing isn't for me, or it's going to be too difficult, the paperwork too much, to where, you know, you see them on graduation day with a diploma standing with the dean of the school, for example?
There's one that particular comes to my mind. The individual came to us from the Army, and he had been diagnosed with PTSD as well as traumatic brain injury, TBI. And this particular student really struggled because of the nature of his injuries to socially fit in on campus. It was interesting because every time he had a new professor, they would call my office and say, you know, I think I have a vet student in my classroom. Can you tell me if he has PTSD? And I would tell them, no, I can't, but I'm willing to come and talk to you about veterans and PTSD. And, you know, walking this student through his academic career for pretty much holding his hand for 4 years. He did graduate, you know, was able to get hired, and it was a successful story. But it took a lot of effort with my office as well as faculty who cared and didn't want to just push him out or not respond to his specific needs. Yeah, it sounds like, you know, you'd have to have a student body and a faculty body that would embrace having veterans who may be experiencing TBI or PTSD issues to have them be welcomed in as just, you know, any other student would on campus. I do want to give you the opportunity to act almost as a recruiter, if you would, with our audience. And why would Niagara University be great for, say, a veteran that's hearing you here in the Rocky Mountain region? We have some really excellent programs. Our criminal justice program is really awesome. We're one of the few private schools that has the Niagara Law Enforcement Academy co-located on the campus. So as you're going for your degree in criminal justice, you also can apply for the Niagara County Law Enforcement Academy. So you're receiving both your degree and the background in law enforcement specifically. We also are world-renowned for our hospitality school, but it's really that small university with a student-to-faculty ratio of about 12 to 1. Really, it's that personalized attention you're going to get. And again, another example I had was one of my vets came into my office a few years ago, and he said he told me he just failed his midterm, and he was happy about it. And I kind of was curious, why are you so pumped up about it? And he said, well, the way I learned about it was the professor saw me walking across campus, and he called out to me by name, his first name, called him over and said, you just failed my midterm. What went wrong? You did so well in class. I don't understand. And how are we going to fix it? And the student was like, this guy really cares about me. He's not just throwing the paper down and said, you're a dummy, get out of here. He knew the student, he recognized the student, and he understood the student was a hard worker, but that there was some miscommunication in the exam. You're just not going to get that at a large school where it's going to be a lot more impersonal.
Yeah, you just don't want to become a number, especially after committing to our country and wearing the uniform. Robert Healy, the Director of Veteran Services at Niagara University. Is there a typical, you mentioned criminal justice, is there a typical field that a lot of veterans tend to go into?
If it's not criminal justice, the other two are business and computer science information. Those two seem to be really strong here, and our computer science program is getting a lot more attention, not just from the student veterans, but from our employers as well. We're starting to see some interest from federal institutions who would like to hire our students, especially our veterans.
Robert Healy, the Director of Veteran Services at Niagara University. You can find out more information at niagara.edu. Mr. Healy, thank you for your service to our country, and thanks for joining us on the American Veteran Show. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Speaking of veterans and education, a new study from Student Veterans of America reveals student vets using the post-9/11 GI Bill are pursuing bachelor's or graduate degrees from public or private schools with business, healthcare, or STEM degrees, leading the pack. They're also graduating at high rates. One number has it at more than 7 in 10 as graduating. The post-9/11 GI Bill went into effect in August of 2009. Based on data, 100,000 veteran graduates are coming out and into the workplace every year. The government has spent more than $71 billion so far on the benefit. That's all for this week's program. Coming up next week.
If you're going to cut the State Department, you're going to have to pay more to send me some more ammunition, because we're going to have fight more wars. So the United States has to decide, is this a wise use of our resources?
Author Stephen Kinzer talks about his new book, The True Flag. From all of us, thanks so much for listening this week. I'm Stephen Tubbs. Remember our veterans and remember our troops.
The American Veteran Show is produced by Mountain Time Media Group, LLC. Creative Director, Alan Jackson. Email us, info@AmericanVeteranShow.com. Copyright 2017. All rights reserved.